How's everybody out there? We are live. We are live. We are live. This is the Real Sports Fan Podcast on October the 13th, 7:04 p.m. And we are back for another episode. Got the great Marty Belly with us tonight. Gonna be talking about a lot of great stuff. His historic playing career and coaching career, which is still currently going on. So we're definitely excited and happy to have Marty here. Marty, what's good, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. You hear the theme music, man?
I don't know if everybody can hear. I don't know if everybody can hear it. He got that Jay-Z going. He got that jigger going. I don't know if everybody remember about that jigger.
I'm blowing that for you. That's for you.
Yeah, that's the theme music, man. I go ahead and say, got to educate him, let them know what song that is. But man, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate you, coming on and taking out some time. Like you said, we had talked about this some months back, and we had joked about a couple of things, and definitely said we was gonna, make this happen. So definitely appreciate you, jumping on. Before I get into the particulars and everything, because I know, like I said, we got a lot that we want to talk about. But I first and foremost want to say one of the reasons that I started this, just like I tell everybody, was really to give people their flowers while they can still smell them. I'm a big component on that. And you one of the guys, man, that, you helped me a lot. You one of the first people that, will work me out, and end up being obviously my assistant coach. And then watching your great high school career, your 95, 96, actually your 96, 97 team was the first team I actually started watching high school ball with, and then obviously, I got to see you at Dell State, and also got to see what you're doing now coaching wise at Easton and now at Cambridge. So I just want to salute you, man. Say I appreciate you and just appreciate, what you mean to the Eastern Shore and to the game of basketball.
No, I appreciate that, man. I try. When you're in high school, coming up, you don't even think about the stuff you be doing.
Yeah.
And I don't talk much. That's what I was saying before we got on.
Yeah, for me to get you on here, it's huge. You're right.
Yeah, I don't do much.
You're right. Yeah, so a lot of people, been asking about you even before, or even after the fact that I already knew you was coming on, man. So I definitely appreciate everybody out there for watching right now. I know Sam and Mike, a few more of y'all out there. This is episode 35, season 3. You can share this, have your watch parties, all that good stuff, be on YouTube later. We're going to go ahead and get right into it. Like I said, we got a lot to talk with Marty about. I was telling Marty earlier, I said, we even joked that we might need to do a part 2 because I haven't interviewed anybody where you have high school basketball, that you played and also that you coached and both were great. Both were great. So we got a lot to talk about. We're going to dive right into it. First and foremost, Marty, man, tell everybody who might not know, where you grew up at, and also how did you start playing ball? Who put the ball in your hand for the first time?
Well, I grew up in Ridgely, so pretty much my brother's like 10 years older than me, and everybody used to come to our house and play ball. All the Herbert Dennis, all them boys, Jeff Chambers, playing outside on the dirt, full court, and shoot, I'm 8, 9 years old, and you ain't playing that young. So I just decided, all right, I'm gonna work so I can get on the court. That was just my first goal, was just to get on the court. And then, they would go to the courts in Ridgely on Sundays was a big thing. So I just try and work my way up to that. Then I just started playing for the YMCA travel ball with Dusty, Dale, all them. Steve was one of my coaches, and we started traveling, doing stuff like that. But yeah, it was started off originally. Ain't much to do out there but shoot.
Yeah. You say you gotta find something to do in the ridge, what we call it. Yeah.
So all I did was I would just shoot at my house all the time, and then go to the park and play. And that's what I recommend a lot of people, man. Before you go play, go find somewhere and get some shots up. Even if they playing at you ain't got your own court, you go play at the park. They playing at 5, get there at 4 o'clock, because there ain't gonna be too many people out there. People show up right at 5. And you can get a lot up in an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point you made just in reference to that, and for the young fellas out there, listening, man, please take heed to coach because now that you say that, I can remember playing 5-on-5 with you or going to watch y'all play. Those runs I used to have an all while at the Y, and you was there early, getting up shots and stuff like that. And I read about how I know you talked a little bit briefly about 8 or 9 playing about your brothers and playing in Ridley, but I read that all your brothers had different types of games, so you took a little bit of what they had, and also you knew that, like you said, at 8 or 9, the only way you could get out there was you had to be able to shoot, you had to be able to get the ball up. So is that really where that came from? Like your IQ, because everybody talk, always say you have a high basketball IQ. Does that IQ and just your knowing of the game come a lot from, you think, those battles in Ridge?
Yeah, some of it, yeah. You're a product of where you are. I mean, what you see, and you pick up little things here and there. But yeah, all my brothers had different type of game, and mine is a little bit different than everybody else's too. But you just pick up little things as you go along, and then I just started watching and learning. I think I was just born doing that. And then my father was coaching JV in Easton. And I'm being around, I probably just picked up on it, didn't even realize I was picking up on it. But I always was trying to be a step ahead and things. If I could figure stuff out pretty good, like I'm good at math, that's problem solving. So maybe it just came with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And you were what I would say somewhat before your time, because you talked about what you did as far as watching and as far as practicing and stuff like that. But also you would watch college games. I read something where you was watching Trajan Langdon, how, when he's at Duke, how he came around screens. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm in the bag. I'm in the bag. So even stuff like that, at that age, guys wasn't watching film and stuff like that. How to angle your body, how to get your shot up, how to be ready to shoot, and stuff like that. Can you speak a little bit on just the film aspect of it?
Well, pretty much with me, I always just had a goal. Once I decided I wanted to go play in college, I just started looking for ways to do that. And once the older I got, I was like, all right, think my game is similar to his. I like how he can get open. So I would just literally like watch Trajan Langdon. I wouldn't look at nobody on the floor but him. How's he getting open? Mm-hmm. How's he getting to his spots? How's he coming off the screen the right way to get a shot off, or getting up in the air, to take one dribble or do whatever. And it just built from there. I just take a little piece, like you said, I take little pieces of everything to try to incorporate in your game. Because once you get a certain age, pretty much, if you're being truthful with yourself, what you can and can't do. And you use that to your advantage. It don't matter how fast or slow you are. There's some people that's fast, that can't get by nobody, they don't know how to change speeds. And there's some people that's slow and deceptive. I try to be deceptive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you was. Yeah. You were a great change of pace. You change your pace guard. You were probably quicker than most people also thought too. But we're gonna get into all that. But that just was one thing that came to my mind. I know you talked a little bit about YMCA and that sort of thing. What about AAU during that time? I know AAU had kind of started being in the forefront of people's minds and stuff like that, especially being on the Eastern Shore where we're at. Talk a little bit about the first AAU program you remember joining.
Actually, it didn't start around here. That's shout out to Dwayne Coverdale and Frank Brown. They got a lot of us in college.
Yeah, Delaware. Yeah.
We ain't know nothing about AAU. My sophomore year, going into my sophomore year, they came recruited everybody. Albert Haney, Cavan, Johnson, everybody. Mm-hmm. And that was our first exposure to people. If you hadn't went to no type of basketball camp, you didn't really know that people could play. We had no social media, nothing like that. Me growing up in Ridgely, a child's mind, I thought if your name was in the paper, everybody in the world seen it, because I thought that was the only paper on earth. But after we started that and they started that, it just branched off from there. It was only, Eastern Shore and Lower Delaware, one team.
Yeah.
We Nike a contract after one season or midway through the season, and just started getting exposed. I mean, that opened up a lot for us on the shore. It's a lot of people that's went places because of that now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's a great point you made about, what Coverdale and Frank did, because you're probably the third person that's mentioned that. Bunk, I don't know if you've seen earlier, but Bunky was on here earlier in the season. Shelton was on here, and they both mentioned the same thing. And I remember the same thing Frank talked to me about, about AAU as well. What about how were the competition, amongst yourselves? Like obviously you guys are playing other people, but just amongst those practices, like you said, you, Haney, Albert, Kavon Johnson, talk a little bit just about even the competition around you, how that made you better going into, going from year to year.
It was very competitive because back then you couldn't even really go. It wasn't me just saying I'm gonna go hang out in Cambridge. You ain't go to Cambridge. You didn't go to Graceville. It was all turf. You can't come over here, and that really like got us, being more friends. But when we played, like, all right, I don't care where you from. Let's go ahead and ball. Oh, you can't play from Easton, man. I got you. And then you just got to go ahead and play. But then afterwards, I mean, just like any basketball game, like, all right, it's over now. And then we got close. Now look, I mean, with everything going on now, you can talk to anybody anywhere now. That's true. That's a great point. So going into, this fast forward a little bit, going to high school as a freshman, you were a freshman on varsity. Did you know before your freshman year, or maybe I should say during your freshman year, that you were going to bypass JV and go to varsity, or how did that come about? I knew in 8th grade I was going to go to varsity because I seen Albert Morin on varsity in 9th grade. So I made my mind if I was playing. And then I was a water boy because my father was JV, but I seen practice with the varsity. So I would do all the running drills, all that kind of stuff. And you play at, Ottawa Park. That probably cemented it for me when we moved over here and I was in 8th grade in Ottawa. You had to get your there. And I mean, within a couple of weeks, getting picked up in the first 10, and I'm an 8th grade showing up, and they don't really know me. They know I'm little Marty, but they ain't know if I could play. They just see me carrying water around all the time, with the team. And then I told Coach Joe Heyman, I was like, man, I'm gonna be on your team next year, and he just smiled. But then I think I just put a seed in his ear, and then I was like, all right, I'm just gonna show you. That's really what I do. I don't speak a lot on stuff. If I see something, I observe it, I digest it. Then once I make my mind up, I'm like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. I ain't gotta talk about it. I'm just gonna show up.
Man, that's what's up. The quiet assassin. That's how you've always been. So that's true, because a lot of times we talk about things and we don't do it. We don't be about it. So I definitely respect that. And like you said, Joe Heyman is also a young coach at that time. I think your freshman year, I think he was going into his second year, if I'm not mistaken. But talk about that team, you being on there, and what it was like as a freshman, because I know obviously you had, shout out to Big Norman Townsend, and you had Jason Wolford, you had Jamel and Sleep. Joel came on there with you. He was a sophomore. What was it like being on there as a freshman? Did you ever feel like it was, the stage was too high yet, or when did you feel like, okay, I can, I can play with these guys?
One thing, me playing with them in the summer, I know I could play with them, because back then it wasn't AAU yet. You learned off the people that was older than you. They pretty much mentor. Like, they'd beat on you and then tell you what you did wrong, what you did right, and then it don't happen no more. So I'm like, I'm playing with grown men, and they picking me in the first 10. So when we got to high school, I'm like, oh, you just 18. I mean, what is that? I'm just playing 30-year-olds.
Right.
On me. So
right.
That wasn't a big deal, because once you go out there, you're just playing ball. I mean, it was some jealousy and all that kind of stuff, and I had to deal with, that's Marty's son and all that. You got to deal with all that. But you can play, that stuff goes by the wayside. The only people that really say something after they see whether you play or not, just people just straight hating and want to be in your position. Because I ain't
nah, you definitely did. But that's a great point, though, because I can see that, and even, thinking back on, even while you said, I can think back at times where I'm sure, like you said, there was some hating going on, especially being a coach's son, which, Saturday we're going to have Mike and Richard on here, and even getting that coach's son perspective. And I was in that, so I know how that was as well, the pros and cons of that. And
on top of that, my dad was a JV
coach.
I mean, wouldn't I want to play for my father if he's a JV coach?
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and they still say, "Oh, he the
yeah.
son." Like, man,
And they still said, right, right. In that case, I'll play with my dad or JV. Right, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point. And now let me ask you this: as far as your freshman year, now I know, like you said, you had the confidence. You played with them out to the park. Like you said, you know, you ain't say this now, but I've seen this quote where, like you said, they tie their shoes just like you tie your shoes. They put on their shorts like you put on your shorts. So it was really nothing to you. But that year, when in the playoffs, y'all played Colonel Richardson, lost to Colonel Richardson your freshman year, but you had 18 that game as a freshman. How much confidence did that give you going into the summer and going into your sophomore year?
Oh, it did a lot because I always know I could play with everybody. Pretty much through the year I was six man, and ain't nobody really paying me no attention. So I got that's probably the last time I've got open shots. Was like great.
Yeah.
I still can't catch them down. I don't even play that much, but it was good to me. And then the coach, after that year, he was like, you can forget about trying to play football because I had planned on playing football, but it was my first year
Oh wow.
at Easton. So I was like, all right, let me get here, get adjusted to the school and all that. And then next year I go ahead and play football. He was like, you can cancel that. You ain't playing.
Cancel Christmas on that one. Yeah. Take a fork in that.
He's like, you're gonna have the ball in your hand a lot next year. So I was like, all right. So I was like, that's my next challenge. And that's how I've been pretty much. I just look for a goal, look for something, and keep on moving. And from there, without saying anything. I don't think nobody else even know that he said that to me. I was just like, this is what I'm gonna do. That's what I wanted to do anyway. I wanted to go to college. I wanted to help my team go as far as we could go. Everybody got their dream of going to the States and all that, but I was like, all right, let's get together and let's work out. That's the way I've always been. I ain't never been about myself. I always been, let's get my team here. If they need me, if we need something in the clutch, and I'm ready, I'm gonna do it.
And I can see that, going into your sophomore year, you guys coming off of a 16-9 year, like say lose Jason Black, lose Norman, but you got coming back, you got yourself, obviously Joel with y'all two more experience, still got Sleep, still got Jamel, then you got Big Mike, Terry coming on. Y'all had a transfer, if I'm not mistaken, from St. Peter and Paul, Peter Terrell. Yeah, so what was I always ask people about the mindset. What was the mindset though, your sophomore year? Because obviously as a freshman, like you said, you had a good year, but now, like you said, it's time for you to really put the ball in your hands and go. So what was just your mindset, going into your sophomore year?
Just getting better as a team because like everybody, like Norm was gone. That's all they said we had was Norm. Jason Wolfen, that. But for the most part, like it's our turn now because really, them was the big guys. So coming back, everybody has something to prove. So that's the way it is, something to prove. We played Cambridge that year. They won the states, and they caught us trying to beat us that year. So good.
Yeah. That's a great point because if I'm not mistaken, Norman is coming off first team and he graduated. So like you say, y'all losing them, and I can understand they not knowing maybe a lot about y'all and what's coming and this, that, the third. So I can definitely see that. And your sophomore year, what was because this kind of to me started, I used to always hear about, Marty and Albert, growing up. I never got to see Albert in person. Obviously, I got to see you a lot. What was it like starting, your sophomore year and going against Albert, because you had some monster games. I know he had his 38s and 42s, but you also had your 36s and 37s, right back at him. So just how was that? I know you never look at it. I know you never look at it as a Marty versus Albert thing, but you always looked at it as an Easton versus Colonel. But how was that going against him?
It was great for me because like I take it back to when I was in elementary school, and originally he was in Preston. Like they had like some type of, I don't even know how it's set up, but it was like something we ended up having to go to. It's like some skills thing. You see, he had the Maryland, the foul line thing they used to do.
Oh yeah. Me and Mike used to be in it. Yeah, we won a couple. Yeah.
So they had something similar. They had all these skilled events, and I won. Only two people to win was me and him. They had like 10 events. So it was just like they played the big, and they would say Alvin Warren, the next, Myron Warren. I think he won like 6, I won like 4. So I'm just going from there, and I'm like, by the time we get to what was it? I was telling my dad, I was like, hey man, get to 9th grade, man. This dude over there, I remember from 6th grade, he's nice. And I'm waiting, I'm water boy, where he at? And he got, I looked and he done ran out. I said, maybe he fell off. I said, hey, that ain't cool. But he come out and run out with the varsity, my mouth dropped. I was like, no, he on varsity. I'm in 8th grade, right? Now, mind you, I look at Van Johnson, he's a year ahead, but he's 6'5". That's the guy that happens. And Kelly Gibson, you know, she's one of the people that I seen her do something. I'm like, I want to do it, but you don't really thinking 9th grade making varsity in Easton. I mean, that just don't happen. But when I seen him do that, make varsity, and then I was in 8th grade playing, I said, okay, that's what I'm doing next year. See, like most people just be hating. I seen him, it's like, yeah, I'm next. That's what I'm doing. I'm on deck. That's what I'm doing next. So by the time we got on the court, like in 9th grade, it was fun. Just, I mean, I wouldn't focal point or anything like that, but just playing them, I couldn't wait. That was like 4 years in the making, trying to play them. Yeah. And then I know if I had my game where close to his, I was like, all right, they gonna do who I am if he made varsity first year. I think he made first team in 9th grade. Yeah, he did. Yep. So I was like, all right, that's what I'm going after right there. I'm going after him right now. So it was just fun. That's all I really can say about it. It was real fun, but I know we had to do it collectively. I know I had to have a good team to beat them, and that's how we ended up beating later on. But that's how I was. I'm like, I can play, but he can play, he can play, he can play, we can play.
And that's a great point you made too about, you know, how your team was at that time, like his team. Because I know, you know, I know we still in your sophomore year. We'll get to your junior year, but you know, y'all battled, you know, your sophomore year, his junior year. But like you said, that next year, you know, y'all really got at him, you know. And I think part of that too, Kevon Johnson was someone. Before I started researching stuff, I didn't know who he was. I tell you, man, that cat, like you said, 6'5", he was a monster on the boards. I mean, down low, he was really the difference maker. It seemed like to me, from the outside looking and reading, that to really, he was, you know, Albert was great, like you said, but he was like the X factor. Am I right about that as far as how the games was?
Yeah, he's the reason why I can shoot the ball so high off the glass. Because I had 2 years to see. I seen him in 9th grade. I was a 7th water boy, and he was one of them type where you can get him all the pump fakes you want. He'd wait for you to release the ball, and he had so quick of a jump, people block it then. So he wouldn't have foul trouble unless the ref just give him some cheap ones. Only maybe like the over the back call, and really that's not even a real call. People say it, but over the back don't exist.
Yeah. Nah. if you somewhat tall, you won't come over the back at some point anyway. So, you know.
But he's the reason for 2 years. I was like, man, he's not gonna block my shot. So I'm in the backyard shooting high layups off the glass, floaters, all that kind of stuff. So 9th grade, and let me see, the 9th grade or 10th grade, 9th or 10th grade, he got so frustrated he couldn't block my shots that in one of my jumpers, I shot from around the foul line. He just jumped up like Patrick Ewing back in the day and just grabbed it off the rim. And I was like, I got him. I was like, he ain't never get it. But
he can never get it.
He was just training though. But that was me studying. I'm like, man, he blocking everybody's shot on East. He ain't getting mine. He ain't getting mine. But he was definitely maker. He was like AD. You know what I mean? Like he's in that paint. Where he at? That's what you're thinking of. Yeah. That was a difference. Yeah. Thing the guards Colonel had, they were scrappy as always. They keep scrappy guards. They can gamble for them. You got a dude back there saying, all right, I'm gonna send it back out here. When they put it up, I'm gonna put it back out, and you ain't got to come down here. You can leak out. That's important. So yeah, he wasn't.
It is. Yeah. I thought so. You know, a couple of highlights, you know, from that year that stood out to me. You know, just looking at things is, you guys lost to Cambridge that year, you both. But the one game, I don't know if you remember, but Haney scored 1,000. That game, but you actually as a sophomore ended up having 36, and you had 19 of the 35 Easton points in the first half. I know you might not remember that, but yeah. So, but you killed that game, so that stood out to me. And then now I asked Jamel this morning. Do you remember when y'all played in Hurlock? I'm pretty sure it was in Hurlock your sophomore year when a couple of them got ejected. Joel Jermel, they got into it, and then you ended up hitting the 2 free throws. I think at the end, the forced overtime, and then y'all won. You remember you had 38 that game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you remember about the atmosphere and just how crazy it was? Because Jermel said he was trying to be the peacemaker. He said they threw him off reputation.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Reputation. You can look at the tape. I think he was out there, but somebody was swinging on him, and Coach Heyman actually grabbed him to keep him away. He ain't swing one time.
That's what he said.
That case, he ain't do nothing wrong at all.
Yeah. That's what he said. That's what he said.
Now that got him, and he'll tell you, I ain't gonna say no names, but he'll tell you he took it. And it was no time left on the clock. Like I remember that play because, and I think I remember more too because Sleepy ended up telling me about that night. We talked about it not too long ago. They must have scored or something happened. I got the ball around half court, and I tried to shoot, and they fouled me from there. So I
fouled you from there. Yep.
I leaned into it.
Yep.
But it was a foul.
Yep.
But ended up I'm on the clock. And he told me, Sleepy told me after the game I was crying. I was like, I don't even remember this. And I was like, you remember that? He was like, yeah. I was like, what for? I said, I know I was sick that game, and nobody knew I was sick. So I said, well,
oh wow.
I tell you why. He said, no, I ain't even sick. But he was like, man, he said, you told me that you've been waiting for that your whole life for that situation.
Oh wow.
I don't even remember saying, but it sounds like I would say.
It sounds like And
that same situation happened in college. So yeah, it probably happened. I'll be forgetting stuff, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey man, you got a lot to remember, man. So hey, I understand. And I was actually talking to Sleep a couple of days ago. He's got a great memory too. We was going down line talking about some stuff. So if he said it, yeah, it happened. It happened. But that's great. That was one of the highlights that stuck out to me. You guys ended up, I know you talked before about Cambridge winning the states that year. They're 95-96 team. And I remember, playing AAU and always hearing about Haney and stuff like that. But y'all lost to them in the playoffs. Easton, I don't know if people remember, Easton was 1A at that time. Y'all didn't become 2A, if I'm not mistaken, until either the following year, or maybe the year after that. But you guys were still 1A.
I was in high school when they switched. Yeah.
You were still in high school. Yeah. So they were, Easton was 1A, and like I said, Cambridge ended up winning. But as your sophomore year concluded, you were the only sophomore, just like Albert had been, where you made the first team as a sophomore. How much of a recognition, was that for you? How good did that make you feel? Did it make you feel? I know you good, so I know you didn't feel like you arrived, but knowing you, it probably just made you go back in the gym and work that much harder for next year. But just talk about making first team as a sophomore.
Couple different things went into that going, because that was a goal. My goal always has been college, get to college and work on your goal. But then when you see Albert, and then you see Haney right in front of a year in front of him, and they doing things. So I just wanted to be next. That's basically all right. Let me get my name up in here somewhere. They're ahead of me. I see a blueprint of how things is going in the Bayside. Let me work on my game to get to this point. So when I got it, I was like, all right, yes, I did this. All right, what's next? That's pretty much what it was. But also, what got me, what made me feel good is when we played Cambridge that sophomore year. When I had that game over there, like literally Haney went over to, and my brothers talk about it all the time. Right after the game, he went over to my parents because we had just played that 1 year AAU together. But I ain't really, I didn't play that year. I was there, but I didn't get in the game. I was the youngest. I was like 15.
Youngest on there.
Yeah. I got on there late, so I didn't play, but I was around it and I was in practice. So he didn't really know how good I was, and they helped me get that good. But then he went right after the game. He went right to my father and my brothers. I didn't even know he knew him. But some kind of way, I guess. Yeah,
he put two and two together.
I guess because my brothers were so loud the whole game, he figured it out. And then he was like, hey, man, your son, your brother, man, he's nice. He was saying it the whole time. And by the time he got over to shake my hand, he was like, man, I ain't know you was that nice. And he just said the whole gym. The whole time he just kept after the game. So that's like Jordan, LeBron saying, hey, they putting their stamp on.
Yeah, for sure.
For that, and then making first team. And they was like, by then, going into that year, it was we already knew each other. So it was like, how people talk about who should make it and who shouldn't and all that kind of stuff. They had the players that put me on there. It was like, yeah, you on first team. They pretty much said it. Yeah, it made me feel good because to me,
for sure.
They was at a level I wasn't there yet, but I know I could play. I was coming because they was all over me.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. And I mean, that year as a sophomore, you averaged 23 for people out there. Because I know Marty don't care, but for the people out there, he averaged 23. He shot 40% from three, 50% from the field, and 83% from the free throw line. And I chuckle a little bit about the free throw line because you used to put me through some drills growing up where you always made sure that I shot free throws when I was tired. I would run around all the court, shoot, lay up, shoot, lay up, but I always had to hit 2 free throws. And then, so that 83%, I know is from you steadily free throws. So that's what made me think about that. Yeah, for sure.
That's
yeah, for sure.
Tell me that too, that I'm a coach. They always talk about the foul shots. They always tell me that make us do that. So I've heard that story a couple times.
Yeah. You always say shoot them when you're tired because that's when you're gonna be in the game. You're gonna be tired in the game.
Yeah. Anybody can make them. You just wake up and go out there. But when them legs on, win.
That's right. That's right.
Heavy,
yeah, for sure. So that like you said, great.
Hey, that 3-point percent I think was off a little bit too.
It was a little higher. You're a little higher than that.
A little bit less. I give it on sophomore year. We ain't had full-time statisticians back then.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny though, and you're right though. In all seriousness, because when I was looking up that, it actually had like a little snippet on one article that said something like to that degree where all the stats, like something like that, where they couldn't get everything. Yeah, so yeah, you're right. You ain't joking about that. So yeah. So going into your
when you get older, they say you're shooting better, and I used to do this. And
they rise it up a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So like you said, great sophomore year. Now going into your junior year, like I said, this is the first team I got to see play, and I got to see y'all. My first high school game ever. Told Shelton and bumped this too, was when y'all played Cambridge at home. I went with my sister Kiki, and y'all. I mean, y'all went to work. But that year, I mean, Joe at the point, you at the 2. Terry was coming his own at the 3. So James, recipe James at the 4, who was always like a unsung hero. Always did so many little things that no one always show up in the box score. Then you got my man Big Mike. I sent him a picture earlier. I had the game against Queen Anne. He had 21-17. I had to send that to him. You know what I'm saying? I had to send that to him. But that 5 y'all had, and then also what you guys had coming off the bench. What do you remember about that year? Because you guys did some great things that year. And it is a couple of games I want to get into. What do you remember just overall about that junior year?
Starting before that, after our sophomore year, that's when I got my van. Big Mike got his van. Joel had a van. All of us had a van. And we was all deep. I'm talking about everywhere. Everywhere you wanted to play, we was there. And sometimes back then, Denton had them courts, had the caged in, like that movie of Butter Ram.
Fellasburg.
There were people all the way around. Like, so there, we go Oxford, Bellevue. And if it wasn't people there, we had 10 already. So we coming in town, all them Easton boys here. But that's how it started. Got us close. We're like, all right, we're gonna play. And that's just what they load up. Who's driving it there? And then we were just like, all right, we going after these next 2 years, we going at them. And so our mental was already together. And we had already played together. Because like Terry was my junior year. I think he made first team that year.
He did. He made
first team.
Yep, you Joe and Terry made it. Yep.
And I don't know who the center was, but I know Big Mike was our first team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So for sure.
We was locked in. We was ready to. That was our job. We going states, and there wasn't nothing that could stop us from going. That's just the way we felt. So there's nothing else we can say more about that, man. We was just locked in from the jump because we had started after the season, the previous year to say, all right, let's go, let's load up, let's work. And one of my juniors, okay, so again, then so I would have been going 16. So that's when we had another full season at AAU, and all of us played. So that helped out even more. So I went 16s. 16s/17s. That's another story.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, Big Mike, all of us played, and we just had
Mm-hmm.
chemistry, man.
Yeah, y'all definitely did, and I laugh. It's a lot of one get to that year, these next 2 years, but I laugh because Shelton's on here, and by the way, Shelton said he thought you was an AI fan, not a Jordan fan. You got that in the background. That's what Shelton said. He got that Jordan in the back.
Hey, you see my hair? I'm taking it back to AI, man. I did that for you. I did that for you.
Cornrow Hawk. But I laugh because we talked about that too, because and for anybody that wasn't running or don't remember, when you say the van, you're 100% right, because I remember I rode in the van at times, as I got older. But y'all guys would go around and y'all, like you said, you would have your 10, whether it was going to Fellisburg or Denton or, like you said, Bellevue or wherever it was, or Owl Wild, coming to the Wild. But you guys always played, and you always played together. You know what I mean? So when you build that type of chemistry before high school even starts, and you have a brotherhood amongst each other, when you go on the court, it's easy to sacrifice and stuff like that, for the goodness of the team, when you have that type of squad there. So, that's what sticks out to me, just amongst what y'all had. And you're right about Big Mike, because you guys, including him, you guys had 4 guys that was in double figures that year. And like I said, and the 5th guy, James, did everything else. When you guys played Cambridge and beat them, I did not know that was the first time. Now this is what the paper said. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but said that was the first time Easton had beat Cambridge in about 11 tries. Because I know JV, Cambridge JV had an 87 game win streak. So Easton JV, they beat them, and then y'all stopped the streak that they had against y'all. Do you remember just how I felt to beat Cambridge for the first time? Like you said, year before, they still had Haney, still had Dingaling, all that. How did that feel to finally take care of them? And y'all beat them both games. In the first game, y'all beat them by like 35. So
yeah, that was a special day, because they actually did a paper on the JV, and breaking that streak. So I don't know if they knew it was coming or they just know it was a big game. But I remember they got pictures of that in there, them celebrating with the score in the background. And then we played. Well, man, we was locked in. I don't even know what happened the rest of that week before, or if we played anybody that week, but we was all locked in, like mentally. It felt like I was floating all week. I was just like there. I didn't even know we really won by that much until we seen the paper. Like, we was that much in the sun. And we looked at the film after that. It's like we was all over the place, man.
I was.
Stuff that looked like it was open. By the time the ball got there, we was there. We was rotating. It was like, man, it was just one of them games, like, we couldn't do no wrong. Because we only had 50. We didn't give up 60 points.
Yeah, I was gonna say y'all didn't give us 60. I think they had 59. Yeah. So you guys, and you know what, I think that, and this has always been like this. I always think people think about the offense that y'all had, and sometimes the Easton had, but y'all defense. You got Joel Ballhawk. I mean, picking up 94 feet. You got Terry, who was probably your best defensive player, because he could switch on so many different people. And then you had yourself, who was an underrated defender, and you all had, I think, like 60 plus steals. I think Joel's was even crazier than that, but all y'all had at least 60 plus steals. So, the way y'all got in the passing lanes, was it what Heyman taught y'all as far as getting in the passing lanes, or was it just y'all being aggressive, or was it y'all scheme, or, what was it defensively for y'all?
It was a combination of everything, because we played together so much. You know how you get with a team and you've been together so long, all you got to do is look at somebody and you know what that means. That's pretty much all it was. Like, Heyman didn't even have us. Most of the steals we got, we wasn't even supposed to be in a press. We just went off a field. Like,
gotcha.
Somebody got a layup, and then it's funny. I just popped in my head. Mike Walker, I remember a couple times, he was like, "Yo, I didn't even know we was pressing." He was like, he was like, we scored, and then me and Joel just stayed down there, I guess from adrenaline or whatever. And then he was down there, then everybody else just lined it up and just read the play. It wasn't so you couldn't hardly scout it. You're like, what kind of press they in? It was kind of off the field. And then they just rotated the back line the same way. But Joel was up in your chest, and this is the thing too. 2 things on that. With me, I'll go back to me with defense, but back then it was hand checking. You could bump, and he had this strong body. So 94
Yeah.
guard and guard. Guards don't like contact. So he had been in
Nah.
the chest the whole time. He turned. You got me and Terry sitting there waiting, baiting people into passes. That's basically all it was. We bait you into it. If they got the pass to my side or whatever, I'm turning, and then Joel's on his way back. And then Terry's, he's on his way back on the other side. So it just was all you. But I couldn't tell you what kind of press we ran, honestly. I think he just let us go because we played so good together. You play so good together, you see something, and you're just like, all right, this is what we're doing right here. Or if somebody go down for a layup, and I'm close, I'm at half court. Oh, okay, we in the press now, just off the field. So it was a combination of everything. It's kind of how I coach a little bit now too, because sometimes you just got to read your players, and once you read your players, and he's like, all right, I think this will work out of this will work off of this. This is what he's good at. Let me find a way to make that a strength, and I think that's what he did. And we fed off each other too.
That's what's up. Like you said, playing with each other and knowing where people are going to be. Like you said, it makes things a lot easier, and it showed that year. And like you said, the first game y'all beat Cambridge was 95-59. The second game was a little bit closer. Y'all won by 5, but y'all clinched the North. Y'all had 4 games left. Y'all basically clinched it. After that Cambridge win, the second Cambridge win. How did it feel to clinch the North Bayside, that year?
Well, think about the second one. You said some key words and missed it. The second game was over Cambridge. So you see why.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It makes a difference. Yeah.
We ain't just going there on that cafeteria floor that they had at the time and think that you're going to come out with a win. Ain't
hard place to play, man.
Ain't no easy wins up in there. But it felt good because that was our goal, man. We trying to go states. We wanted to win the Bayside, and we did everything that we could do in our power to get there. I mean, it started the summer before, and actually summer before that, but definitely the summer before, because everybody was driving and we was just going everywhere playing.
Okay. And yeah, because you guys were on the streak at one point, and you guys probably didn't even know because y'all were just balling, but y'all had won like 14, 15 straight games. I mean, y'all was just blitzing everybody. And that year, and this is your junior year for everyone that's just, getting on Real Sports Fan Podcast. Appreciate everybody listening. Got Marty Belly in the house, Marty Belly Jr. in the house. Do you remember who you scored your 1,000-point on?
Yeah, it was in St. Mary's.
Okay.
Preseason. We played in preseason, and then we played them right before the break. And I was like, I gotta get this for the break. We home, we might as well get it now. And then so I had like 14 at the half, and then I think I hit a shot early, and then they didn't really do too much. And then the last minute of the game they had to foul, and I ended up making 4 free throws to score 1,000. And nobody really knew except for my mom, because they went crazy because they knew they'd wait for the shot to go in. And because I remember Bonky told me, he said, man, I ain't even, he said, you just pumped your fist real slight to yourself. Said, yeah, that was my bad. I ain't real emotional. So remember that. Yeah. And backstory to that too, like they wanted me to get it against that team because we played St. Mary's. They was across the bridge, and they played preseason, and ended up busting my eye open against them. And
oh wow,
one of the players, Joel, thought it was perked. I don't know if he's seen a different angle than I did, but I made a move and their head hit my eye. Still got that cut. Matter of fact, I can see it in the camera. Still got that cut now.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
I went in the locker room or whatever, and came back out. They had on tape. I came back out. I really couldn't see that good, but ended up hitting 7 threes like in that half, and I couldn't even really see. But after that, Joel got him back. I'll say that. I'll say within the game, that's how tight knit we was. He was like knock one of our players down, and I got black eye and all that. He handled it from there. That's how tight we was, back then. So when we played them and I had a chance to get to 1,000, they were like, man, go ahead, shoot. They were telling me shooting our Kobe in his last game, like shoot, shoot, man.
Yeah, that's right.
You gotta get it in the flow. Shoot the ball. and we did the same thing with Terry when he was getting his style. Man, hurry up, man. Shoot the ball.
I was there for that one. Yeah. I remember that. And that's awesome. That's awesome.
But he missed the layup. He was supposed to have his 1,000 point on the layup. I gave it to him like right in front. Shoot, he missed it. Come on, man, what you doing? And then hitting up in the
Y'all, he did from the corner. Yeah. Sure enough, sure enough. And like you said, because you even said it in, in the article too, and I know Terry too. When you get to those last couple of points, like you say, you just, you're thinking about it. You want to get it over with. Everybody wants you to get it. So, I know, like when y'all finally get it, it's like, okay, I can move on now and let's take care of business. You know what I'm saying? So,
I didn't want to be
that's
selfish. I
something.
wanted to get it in the flow. I didn't want to be selfish. They know that ain't me.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got
Yeah,
everybody telling you, go ahead. I'm cool.
yeah,
I'm cool. And then it get
yeah.
down to the last minute. I'm like, wait a minute, I ain't gonna be a home game for about 6 more games. I better go ahead and get
Mm-hmm.
this. So I had to make 4 in a
Mm-hmm.
row.
Gotcha. Oh yeah. 4 in a row. Yeah, I did read that. Yeah. 4 in a row to get it out in the last like minute. Yeah. Do you remember that year the game-winning bank shot that Boat hit against Chrisfield?
Oh yeah. I don't remember.
Yeah.
My senior year.
That was your junior. That was your junior.
Junior year. Okay.
Yeah.
See, every time we went down Chrisfield, they ran us about there, so I couldn't remember
Yeah.
what year it was.
Oh.
My freshman year, they ran us
Yeah.
up. We was on the bus, they had the police escort. We all down in the.
Oh man.
And what you said, my junior year, yeah.
Yeah. Because that was on a regular season, and then obviously y'all ended up playing them in the playoffs, and we'll get to that in a second. But that was kind of like the prelude to the playoff. But y'all beat them 68-66 when Bo hit the game winner that game your junior year. And then that was basically almost like the last couple of games of the regular season, getting y'all ready for the playoffs. You guys had a tough loss in the Bayside game against High.
Yeah.
That year. That was real tough loss. What do you remember about that game? Just how it went.
I think we scouted them pretty good because we knew each other. We ran the same type of system, but theirs was like more structured, fast break. We just got it and went. So we had a couple things we did that I still use to this day when I'm playing against High. But it was just back and forth. We knew that was the first team that we got to get back. Like they told me we got the other teams get back on us, but we had to get back too. And I remember Terry had a good game, I struggled a little bit, started scoring a little bit later on, but it was just a dogfight, man. And then we just had a chance to tie. We had a chance. We just didn't get it. We didn't play our best game. I don't think it was nothing they did that to really stop us from playing our best game, because I don't want to discredit them, but I think we could have played better, and we could have won it. We still scored 70 points, and then we didn't even play.
Yeah.
That's just because of how fast the game was. But
you still scored 76, so y'all were still scoring. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just let that one something we got us, But I got them back later in time. For sure. How did it feel, to be truthful now? How did it feel to put Albert out the playoffs? Because you guys had battled for years, and to get a chance to play him again in a meaningful game in the playoffs, when if I'm not mistaken, your freshman year, his sophomore year, they had put y'all out. Like I said, your sophomore year, you lost to Cambridge, and now it's your junior year, and you get to play Albert again. And the performance that I don't know if you remember this, Joel, and Terry, you guys combined for 79 points. And it's like, for like 3 or 4 minute spurts, you guys just took turns. Marty, your turn. Joel, your turn. Terry, your turn. What do you remember about putting Albert out, just about that game, how y'all three dominated, and how the whole team played well? Well, I'm taking back even more. Ninth grade, they beat us 3 times. They beat us in the regular season and the playoffs.
Okay.
Didn't beat them the year. We went at it, but they still beat us. Right? We didn't beat them until my junior year. So my first year, my junior year, the van was gone. When we played them first game, I'm like, all right, we got him now. The van gone. Then Albert scored like 54. He ain't scored. We missed like 2 shots, and we didn't have all our stuff together yet, like chemistry and all that.
It was early. It was early in the year.
He was already fresh. He was mid-season already. So then by the time we played the second time junior year, we had I had some extra motivation. I had heard some things, and it's hard for me to hear anything, but that's the game we started going shot for shot, and someone ended up passing away in the crowd. Like that's
I heard about that. That was that game. I heard about that. Yeah. Actually, Sheldon, I think he mentioned that too. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we literally was shot. So I mean, back and forth, back and forth. I mean, it's thinking back when people talk about it to me, they just remember that game and how hype it was. And literally six. I think I hit 6 in a row. He hits 5 or 6 in a row, and we just kept moving back and back, deeper and deeper because he was the man. So he ain't coming in my gym, and I was playing. So he just was stepping out further. So, all right, my turn. And Colonel, they still played the same zone they played back then.
Yeah, yeah.
And I played with some of their players in the summer, so I already knew their tendencies. I literally was catching it and ball faking one way, and they was moving, and I was shooting. And we ended up winning that game. I think we still had 6 minutes left, but they ended up playing a boxing one. Colonel don't play no boxing one.
Nah.
They played a boxing one on me the second half, and we opened the game up even more because basically the first half, everybody was like, "Yo, shoot! You making them shoot? I'm gonna take good shots. I don't care what kind of shots you take. Shoot the ball." Second half, they played boxing one. Then everybody take off. We ended up winning. We was up 19, I think, maybe 5 minutes to go. Then we go to playoffs, and then that go back to where let's beat them. We're gonna beat them collectively, and it wasn't a better picture to see. But what like we just said 79 points. Yeah. We didn't score 40 each. Like 40, he gonna score 40. We ended up scoring 80. You know what I mean? So that was our old goal. But nobody was trying to take them down by themselves.
By themselves, yeah.
That's what we always been about. So that felt great. I mean, it was the last game. You feel for anybody losing the last game. But
Right.
I was like, y'all beat us enough the first 2 years.
Yeah, it's our turn. Yeah, it's our turn. And I've heard about that game you were talking about when y'all was going back and forth. That's one of the first games I heard about, growing up. And Marty and Albert, like you said, 5 or 6 straight. And that's one of those games. And somebody got the tape. Let me hold it. Let me make a copy or something because I got to see that. But that is one of the ones I heard about. But going back for a second to the playoff game, the 1A playoff game that y'all ended up combining for the 79. I do want to read a little bit of the stats just for that because it's so crazy. So
and I don't remember.
Joe had 6. Yeah, I know. Joe had 16, but he had the first 7 of the game. You had 36, 4 threes. But listen to this, y'all. He had 22 in the opening 13 minutes. 22 in the opening 13. So that let me know right there that you came out with that mindset like you did. Yeah. 22 in the first 13 minutes. and then I guess Terry said, okay, I'll finish him off now. He had 27 and he had 11 in a 76-second span right after the second half. So it's like, y'all just took y'all turns and y'all end up beating 106-91.
So
to go to the
and then
first 7. He had the first 7. Then it was your turn. Then it was Terry's turn. Yeah, I'll send it to you after we get off. Yeah. So I read that. I was just like, wow.
That Civic Center too, man. That felt good playing there, man.
Yeah. The Civic Center, right. Yeah, playing in that atmosphere and all that, man. So that was awesome. So like you said, to end things there, and then that's where we get to. Which I know, Serge, I remember me and Big Mike when we was down at UMS, he would always tell me about this game, because it was obviously a lot fresher then, but the game against Chrisfield, if I'm not mistaken, was it down UMS? Yeah. Was it down? I think it was down UMS. And I mean, basically, y'all got robbed. I mean, you don't gotta say it. I said for y'all got robbed. I mean, it was a questionable call at the end where they tried to say the ball hit off of Joel and they never touched Joel and gave them the ball back, and then they scored, and it was just a bunch of stuff. And then anytime you go to the South, I got a lot of South friends, but sorry, I tell you all this too. Anytime you go to the South, it's a little bit different at times with the refs. So what do you remember about that game, losing to Chrisfield, losing to Andy Collins and them, and just that playoff game? That was a chance to go across the water, get across the bridge.
I mean, it definitely hurt because it hurt for me and for my boy. And everybody know how close me and James was. I just remember the end of the game. And I should have been shooting the foul shots. And I literally was at the foul line. And they took me off the foul line and made James shoot. And he's a sophomore at the time. And,
he was.
I feel like the whole, because we lost was because of him. And that ain't.
Nah. Right.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
Chrisfield was good, man. They just was good.
Yeah.
I think, let me see, Andy's the oldest one. So,
yeah. And Andre was, I think, a freshman on that team, wasn't he, or a sophomore?
He was a
Let me see. That
freshman.
was your junior year, right?
He's a freshman.
Yeah.
So, but it was
Yeah,
a
freshman.
dude that really killed us that game. It wasn't the Collins boys, and I think they had played who had played them. I can't remember, the names, but it was another dude that hurt us. But it just felt bad for James when that shot make it seem like it was all his fault. Chris really
Right, right.
It took us a buzzer beater and them running us out of the gym, and then we come back down there, and then I just wanted to make James feel comfortable. Like, man, you ain't lose this game. You gave us a chance to tie it up and us to keep moving.
Yeah.
But it was his fault, man. And it's just, that's basketball. I mean, when I was coaching one year, we had the best team. And then we just had a game where it's not like you're playing a series and you just don't play that game. You're going to catch your ass.
Right, right.
Not that they were sorry. Like I said, we was neck and neck as far as talent and all that kind of stuff. They just got us. We got them first time. They got us the second time.
Yeah. So that ends your junior campaign, and obviously, going into that summer. I mean, you're going into your senior year. It's your last chance, and this is really where I follow. I told you about the one game I went to, but this is the year I really started following high school sports. Obviously, I heard the buzz about Shelton coming, and we had talked about the 97-98 team. Was that the greatest Warrior team? Y'all were so deep, so talented. You had lost Joe and Big Mike from the previous team, but you guys were, again, so deep, and you were transitioning. You were moving from the 2 guard, to the point guard, because, college is obviously you're going to be playing the point, most time in college. And then for what you guys had talent-wise, I'm sure it made most sense. And again, for everybody, he's coming off another first team as a junior. So first team as a sophomore, first team as a junior, around 23, 67 steals, about 4 or 5 assists. So what was it like going into your senior year with the talent that you knew you guys had and what you wanted to accomplish?
We just knew we was going to win the states that year. I mean, we had played together, and anytime Dunbar knew who you are, then
Yeah.
They knew who we were. Because we played them all in the summer. I mean, so they just didn't know. They didn't know what teams we played for. That we was on Easton. Most of us was on that team. But they knew of us, and they were like, Easton, that's the team. So it was a lot of questions. So we was locked in, and we was ready to go. And we just knew we was going to take everything, because now we got another year playing together in the summer. Working out all the time, and we all committed to playing basketball. I don't think nobody really was playing no other sport. I think Bucker was still playing because he was sophomore, and Boat obviously was soccer scholarship. But for the most part, we was all just playing ball and trying to get somewhere and get to college. And like I said, we got one of the best teams ever. Just stats wise, look at that. All the people that went to college. I mean, if anything I could say about myself is I wanted to go to college, and I think that rubbed off on a lot of people because we was all together, and we had 6 or 7 people get a scholarship. Come on. Of that team, it was crazy. Top 3 of all time. It got to be. And one thing I say about the debates about all time is the older you get, the more ego and the more people think, oh, no, you couldn't have done that with us. That's just the whole time. It's like the Jordan and LeBron. If you ain't seen, put it like this, I think the only person that could really do it, find us 10 Mike Butlers that's been around.
Look, I was just going to say, he's on here now, too. Coach is on here,
Because Mike, you done seen I need 12 y'all, put y'all, and y'all made all that, because it's some other things that people were like, nah, we was better than y'all. No, that ain't nothing but ego, man. I mean,
I agree.
Not every college ain't for everybody, but we got that on our side. We had the most of them. When we left, the Bonky and all of them, they still wanted North. Like, and this is a shot at the not 88 team, because maybe they would better. I don't know. I ain't played on that time. 8 years old. But I don't know nobody off their bench. Has anybody named their bench that done anything? I don't know. And like I said, there ain't no shot. And I don't know who is best. Tell you the truth, I just know I was trying to get to college, and some other people ended up going in the meantime. So it's just all whoever they think, because the 80s is better than this time period. This person could do better than now, but you got who knows, man.
Yeah, yeah. Who knows? Like you say, you never know with the errors and stuff like that. And that's one thing, though. The point you made, I know Shelton's on here, and shout out to Andre Collins, so he's on here too. Everybody listening, appreciate everybody. But the point you made about the bench, I know when Donio and Shelton was talking, that was the thing. Like, Donio was saying starting 5 wise, he's saying they got y'all, but as Shelton was saying, when you look at the full team, I mean, you guys had a nickname for your bench, the Killer Bees. I mean, that's unheard of. You coming off the Killer Bees along with Darrell Miller and guys like that. I mean, those practices I'm sure were just so intense and just so much good ball. So when you got to the games, it was like we playing against guys that could be starting on a lot of North teams. So I'm sure it was made y'all easier for y'all.
Yeah, our bench went to college. I mean, that tells you something.
Yeah.
They got scholarships.
Yeah.
So that tell you how how good we were. I mean,
yeah,
that's just
Brooks, both. Yeah, I tell you. Yeah. So, yeah. So obviously, you guys, I still say you guys were undefeated in the regular season. I'm not even worrying about, the forfeited games or anything like that. So I might even bypass that part unless you want to speak on it. But what do you think? Because you guys, I mean, you put on like a show every game. It's like a highlight show, but what was the biggest difference you think for you that year switching to the point? Because obviously you're used to being able to, and you were always unselfish, so it's not like you were shooting every time. You even said that, but what did you remember your biggest adjustment was going to the point? Because you still had big games against Cambridge, you had 33, and you scored when you needed to. So, tell me a little bit about just switching positions.
The only people that didn't know I could run point was, just the fans and people. I had ran point in the summer.
AAU, right? Yeah.
So going to my junior year, that I was the point guard. So I had already getting exposed to the top players in the nation running the show, and the team was pretty much built around me. Like that's probably why Shelton said AI, because that was when I was the point. Everything was centered around me. I honestly can say that. Frank Brown just gave me the ball, and he's like,
yeah.
It was, and that's with no shot clock. I give you a quick story. It was like, we used to, how you used to stall the ball. Some people when you up a little bit. So we had the best talent overall. But we played 17-year-old teams and all that. Or we get up and it was like, all right, he'd say it loud for the whole gym. Get there, don't you shoot the ball. You got the lead on all that. And then, all right, break. He go up, Marty, come here real quick. Boy, if you get that ball, you better shoot that damn ball.
That's right.
Don't do none of the layups. But yeah, he gave it to me. So, but transition to high school, it wasn't no big deal. Only people didn't know was people from the outside. But I was already comfortable at the point. I was already getting looks as the point. It wasn't me playing a two, because at that time they didn't like scoring point guards. So I had a stigma. He's a shooter. There wasn't no combo guards. So I looked upon. You had to be a pure point guard. He's a shooting. So I was 6 foot in high school, and that was the thing. So for me, going between the competition of how many guards it was when I came out, and them couldn't put me in at the 2 or the 1, they couldn't figure it out, and them not seeing me as much as the players that's in the city, that's the reason why I didn't do high D1. And I didn't think about prep school and all that, because at the time we didn't know nothing about that. First person we heard about prep school was Shelton, and I was already ready to go to college. Then after me, that's when we found out about it, and it's helped out so many other people. So many other people go somewhere and end up, going pro, stuff like that.
That's true.
But me, like I literally was before my time as far as the way my game was, the way I played my game. Now everybody got to be able to shoot. Everybody got to be able to handle the ball. The bigs got to be able to do that kind of stuff. But it wasn't hard for me, because I just played the same way all the time. If you needed me, there. It's like I said, in the games and all that. I was when we played over Cambridge my senior year, Terry got in foul trouble. So I'm like, I got to step up. Like my drop when he got that last foul, but Bishop was trying to dunk, and he wasn't trying to let the house go crazy. So he went up on it, foul. I don't know if he fouled him or not. I seen a lot of ball, but the body might have got him. And he go out, he got like 3-4 fouls. I'm just looking at the bench. He's like, "Now you cool. Go ahead, go to work." That's what Terry told him. That's how close he was. He was like, "I'll be back." And balling. That's all I can really say.
Yeah, for sure.
And our great team my senior year was that Hurlock team. with Carlton Dodson, all that.
Carlton, Reggie.
They were one of the hardest teams we played that year.
Yeah. That was. I remember talking to Shelton, and also, oh man, I think I didn't look this up. And Shelton, I know you weren't here. I think it was, or you might can tell me too, Marty. It was a South team that y'all, I think, went to overtime with. I don't know if it was Pocomo. Pocomo, right? Yeah. Pocomo. Yeah.
White dude, was it Josh or something? Yeah, he was tough. Now Pocomo. He ended up going UMS when I was at Dell State. So we
okay.
At it, not directly for a long time playing against each other. Yeah, it took us overtime for the game. They came out ready.
Mm-hmm.
We were still.
I remember that. Yeah.
Like, hey, man, we just got to get it done. I remember that game. I had like 12 assists. I was like, oh, I guess he can run the play. Well, yeah, I could.
Yeah. What do you? I know we talk about people having off games and teams having off games, stuff like that. Do you think that's really what it came down to when y'all lost to Decatur in the playoffs? Was it really? I mean, because I looked at the score and I think y'all only had maybe some 50-some points a game. That wasn't y'all usual offensive outburst, and y'all were actually up with like a couple of minutes in that game, and then a couple of things went. What do you remember about that game? What do you think went wrong in that playoff game?
We switched up the lineup, and that was Sheldon remember, because I didn't even remember how deep it was, but now thinking back the way Sheldon explained it, they're putting him at the front. That wasn't his position he'd be playing with us. I mean, it moved me to the 2 so I could get up and down the court for both, but then I think we sat Big Nasty too long. He didn't get as much minutes. But then we had 50-some points, and then we held the ball, and then everything, the wheels fell off. Nothing went right. I mean, I think twice they got me for a charge. The ball was already in the basket, and then the man fall, and then charge. Like, I still remember Brett's face.
You still remember his face. You don't forget stuff like that.
I was like, you really like blatantly cheating. I'm like, I'm looking at you cheating. Why are you cheating us? That don't make no sense. But I mean, I've learned from that too. I learned from coaching to stick to what you got. Make adjustments. You can make adjustments as you go, but don't change your game plan because somebody think, oh yeah, they're gonna press, or they gotta stop it first.
That's true.
Stop it. Keep 1 or 2 in the chamber. So
that's a great. I'm glad you said it like that. So that definitely makes sense. I can see how that helps you down the line as you got into coaching, and we are getting ready to hit your coaching. But that year, your senior year, a great high school career. You ended up being player of the year that year, averaging just about 19 points a game, which you could have obviously you could have scored more, but being at the point of being on the type of team you were, where you had Shelton and Terry were all right around 16, 17, 18 a game, along with the other scores you had. It was a deep team, and for you to still get player of the year, was a huge accomplishment. How did that feel? Being player of the year, even though I know the season didn't end how you wanted it to end, but how did that feel? Being named player of the year.
Oh, it felt good because I couldn't get none before me, but Albert Haney, all them dudes. Put that on the resume, but you wouldn't get none before that because you had to smack them or something, but smack them down, beat them bad, So that was good resume, That was
and you are still the all-time leading scorer at Easton, 1,793 career points. And like I said, it's crazy thinking about that because, like you say, like the way I look at it, your freshman year, I'm not sure what you averaged, but I know it wasn't obviously what you was your sophomore and junior year. And then your senior year, you're at the point, and you're obviously getting everybody involved. So it could have been probably way over 2,000. But I know that's not something that you cared about. You was always about the team and always about winning, and that's you can always say you was always an unselfish guy. So that's one thing I always respect about you. But how did it feel being inducted into the Warrior Hall of Fame? A few years back.
That feel good. Well, jumping back real quick on I could have had 2,000 easy because
it's easy.
We played 16 minutes and a half. I bet you we averaged 19 minutes.
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
that would have been easy to do that. And also, Shelton, you might be on here. I can't tell now, but you supposed to lead us in scoring that year. He knows it. He's supposed to lead us in scoring.
He over here. I'm
That's
gonna wait till he reply, then I'll let you know what he said.
But he knows too. He admitted when you interviewed me, he had some moments where he ain't feel like it. So, but he's
Oh yeah, he did.
But he should have been our lead.
Yeah.
Let me see. What'd you say?
Just as far as being in the Warrior Hall of Fame.
That means a lot because, for one, that ain't like something you don't look forward to doing that because they ain't never had one. So they got it last year, and think of all the sports. Easton got every sport you can play. I think it's like 30 sports you can play at Easton, between boys, girls, all that kind of stuff. And they go all the way back to when Easton opened. All the athletes that came through, some pros and all that, and they actually, me and Kelly, the only first time basketball players that they put on there.
Yeah.
And that felt good. I ain't gonna lie about that. I ain't even see that one coming. And so many good basketball players, great basketball players that came through. I'm not the only one that went to college. Bruce Blake went to college, and D1 and all that. But they put me on first. I was like amazed, man. I felt good. All the other stuff I've been a blur because I was just trying to get to college. But now I'm older, and now 20 years out, and then they're like, "No, we're gonna put you in." I'm like, "For real?" Yeah, that's
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. And Josh Hickman, Andre Collins said Josh Hickman was who you talking about from Kokomo. Yeah, Josh Hickman. I remember him. Yeah, he was tough. Yeah, he was tough.
Yeah, we
so
MEAC, man, we was battling on Route 13.
The MEAC, yeah. Well, that's actually what I want to talk about. The MEAC. I mean, tell me how you got to Del State, because again, like I told you before we went live, I used to always hear this myth. I don't know if it's a myth. I don't know if it's a lie or what, about you were supposed to be at Georgetown. I think it was Broswell that was the point then, and you were supposed to be the point guard there. But I remember hearing something about they didn't get your tape to the coach in John Thompson time or something crazy like that. But just clear the air about the Georgetown thing, and then also about how you ended up going to Del State.
All right. Well, Georgetown thing was real. It was tape.
Okay.
They had to get the tape, but Kenny Braswell got the spot over me because they seen him more because he was in that area. Now he's tough. Now I wanted to go. I wanted to go to Maryland first, but Juan Dixon, Steve Blake, that was my time period. Steve Francis, all that time. When Georgetown said something, I was like, all right, that's it. John Thompson, yes. Okay, whatever you said, I'm there. And that was during the time period when they let AI go. He was letting the point guards run the team. So
it was.
Victor Page, Ed Sheffy, all of them. So I was like, damn, I'm due next. Okay, he gonna have me right.
They
ended up picking Braswell. He was there more. He was around them more. They seen him more. And what college tells you that pretty much they gave me a letter saying that we went ahead and picked someone else. We wanted you. We went ahead and picked someone else. What college do that? They just that don't happen.
I was gonna say, that don't. Yeah, that's crazy.
They
wow.
went a way to tell me how special they thought I was, but we selected another person. And then once I found out who it was, I was like, okay, that makes sense for them. He right there. So yeah, that's that risk management. Yeah, that makes sense. But I was ready to go. I ain't care what they said. I was out. If they said, come on,
right.
I ain't even visited enough. I was ready to go.
Right. Got you. And how did Del State come about after the fact?
They here's a lesson in people in general. Don't burn your bridges, man, at all. You never know when there's people going to come up in your life later. Like, I probably need to do a better job of, in general, remembering names and all that kind of stuff, speaking and being more social. But I know people will see your character in the long run. But when I was 15, we was playing at Del State tournaments. And so we was there, and they didn't even take a look at me. We had a whole team of killers to me, Haney, all them, and they kept telling us, man, this is the youngest dude, Marty. You take a look. They ain't never paid me no attention, nothing like that. By the time I got to my senior year, they recruited me off of one game. And oddly, it was that daggone senior all-star game. The new coaches came in there, came to the game, seen me, and then right after the game, he said, I'll have my stuff to you after the Final Four. They can't do anything till after the Final Four.
Yeah,
Me one time and like, but if I had been bitter, for 2 years because why y'all ain't recruit me, I'm here. I wouldn't have got that offer because I could have done that. I could have done that with UMES. They was recruiting me and Josh, but didn't want to play us against each other. Like he didn't know I knew they was recruiting Josh. And I asked him about it. He's talking about I'm the best one coming in. I'm like, what about Josh? And he like froze. He's gonna come in, he's gonna walk on. I'm thinking to myself, okay, whatever. I know what's going on.
Right.
Still ain't burned that bridge. Now, man, I've been up there visiting, going to the games, but I ain't burned that bridge. So when Dale C came, because I ain't burned that bridge, I had scholarship papers. And when I was asleep, my father, I still don't know what I signed. My father woke me up and said, here, sign this. Now I ain't woke. I'm literally just like, what's this? Here. I found out later what I signed. So like when they put in the paper, it was months later. I had no clue. I had been signed, didn't even know what I signed. But
yeah.
I guess my father was like, I guess it's a timestamp on it. I don't know, but I signed it before.
That's funny. That's funny. That's funny, man.
Don't burn your bridges.
That's what it was.
Stuff pops up. Yeah. You never know when somebody's gonna pop up, man. And they might be the person interviewing you for a job, man. Later down the road, 10 years later. But told this person,
true.
Some things or then said some things. You never know how stuff pop up.
Yeah, that's a great lesson for not just younger kids, but anybody. You know what I mean? Like you said, don't burn your bridges. You never know. Like you said, when you could, need somebody or when something could come back on you. So, I definitely appreciate you, definitely saying that. And I don't know if you remember, but our AU one time we took a bus to go to one of your games in college and seen. I don't know if you remember that.
On that bus? Yeah, that was my freshman year.
Yeah, I was on there.
That was my freshman year. I remember that, man. We played UMES.
Yep.
I ain't forget that.
Yep.
That meant a lot too, man. That got chills now thinking about man. That was a good time. Because I think I was starting then. And then y'all got to see me play
you was.
against them. And we was playing against Josh and them. And that was a good day. Real good day.
That was special. That was special. That let seeing it, let you know that you can make it and do something with yourself and you can go to that next level. That's what it taught me, as a young kid at that time. But I was on that bus. I was on that bus. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Was that James Bell? Did James Bell do that for you?
Yeah, it was James Bell. Yep. James Bell did it. Easton
Yep. I appreciate that.
Yep.
It meant a lot.
For sure. Shout out to James Bell for sure and putting that together. It's about 8:21, October 13th. We still here, Road Sports Fan Podcast. Appreciate everybody. Got the great Marty Bailey Jr. We're gonna get him out of here soon, but we got to get to the coaching. Like I said, I mean, great player and now great coach. And so I got to get into the coaching, man. You first coached me as an assistant in the 02-03 team. What do you remember about that team? I posted the picture a couple of weeks back. Me and Donnie had some fun with you about the picture and whatnot when we posted that. What do you remember about being an assistant, on that team though?
Yeah, man, it's Donnie on here. He's funny, man.
Yeah. If he's not, he'll see it though, because we always support. Yeah.
Man, I thought that team was the States too. Y'all, man, we had everything on that team that year, and I remember me and you talking about making some type of bet about we can't go to state.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'm for you. I'm coaching you.
No. You know who it was? That was Cabby. I never forget that. Cabby made it with you. So you was like, I'm for you. We Easton. It don't matter. Yeah, that was you and Cabby. Yeah.
I can't take. That's what I don't like about people that's older. They was like, I mean, you.
Right. They competing. Right. It's no competition. Yeah.
Man, your time's up. Just man, it's over. Help the next generation. You didn't make it, man. I was able to help. Since I didn't get it when high school, the things happened. That's helped me be a better coach, and I'm able to get through them as far as that. But man, we had every tool you could get, man. That was the base side was good though. The base side was
it was
good. Bennett and I just everybody was low.
Yep. Pogomote, it was low. Yep.
I think we had a chance though. We just had so many things go wrong because nobody had just in the middle. Nobody had that. Everybody had all the pieces we had, but they ain't had their in that middle.
They ain't had dirt. They ain't had dirt, not at all.
He was the type, you don't get dunks in the zone. He's dunking in the zone because he's so big. Like I
Yep.
had set
Yep.
up one of our secondary transition plays, and Mike Blake
Mhm.
had it down to a key. Like I still
Mhm.
remember throwing to the corner, had a man cut through and through a zone.
Yep.
He would throw it across the zone, and you could either throw it right to him. He got a drop step dunk if down rotate, or in a half
Yep.
court in the zone. He literally would be a high low. Don't nobody throw the ball
Mhm.
from the top of the key for a lob in high school, especially not that.
Yep.
That ain't happening. He literally
Mhm.
was. That's
Nah.
what we had to our advantage. So that opened up every single
Yep.
thing else. When you got try to put two men on somebody because the point guard may throw it to the rim, man, you don't.
Mhm.
Yeah, even if you scouted, what you gonna do about it? So
Yeah. What you gonna do? There's nothing you can do about that. Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
had all the other weapons. So
Yeah.
we just didn't happen again. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
like
Like you said, something else screwed. Yeah, got screwed again. Cause like you said, even without all that happening, we still had Derek at the end. Even though we didn't have the right seed, we should have had. Cause we would have been a high seed before they took our games. But we still had Derek going into the playoffs. We would have picked up to, in my opinion, right where we left off at. With Gary coming back and all that. But we just never. I think that team only played together maybe 9 games, the whole team. That's how good we was. We only lost one game to the North. You know what I mean? And the 3 to the south. And you remember that out of bounds play that you drew up? How many points you got off of that? You had the lob. Everybody worried about the lob to Derek. But the thing I liked about the lob was sexy. That was good. But so many bounce passes. Cornell, Gary, D, they got so many layups off of that inbounds play.
it was a straight decoy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, man. So I had fun taking the ball out of bounds with that. It was fun. It was fun. But going to you're taking over as the head coach. And if I'm not mistaken, that was the 07-08 season. You guys had just lost LT and Bryce and Lone, and you coming into basically a young team, a new team. You got Cullen Murray Kemp on there, and you had Juwan Gill and Tarish, guys like that on there. What do you remember about that first year, taking over as a head coach, Easton?
Well, I knew it was going to be tough because, for one, like our guards, I'm not sure I told Juwan, Aaron, and all that, but they wouldn't the height as the rest.
Nah, they were small. Yeah.
So for us to even compete, it was going to be tough. But the thing is, they were scrappy, and I actually coached them at AAU since they were 12. So chemistry wasn't a problem.
Okay.
Just getting
Okay.
comfortable, realize that you got to be your own self. I mean, everybody,
Mm-hmm.
he took it as he needed to play like LT played because he was there, and he wanted to be, like I said, man, play your game. You got game.
Mm-hmm.
Play your game, and within the system,
Mm-hmm.
you'll get your shots. I mean, he was like 6'5", and he held the ball high,
Mm-hmm.
so and elevated. So I'm like, do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I break down some of my players I had since they was 12. Like, yeah, you can't stop them. So I mean, that's one of them come to Jesus moments where it's like, all right, we got to realize this is gonna make us better as a team. If you get this man shots, it's gonna open up everything. Because if you got one person that put the ball in the hole, you're gonna get attention, then everybody else is open. Once they realize that's the part of being in a team, we started getting better. We were scrappy.
Yeah.
So that was good. That was good. Good learning experience. Because we were small, man.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all were a small team. Do you remember? I'm gonna hit you with another trivia. Do you remember who your first win? Cause y'all lost y'all first game, but do you remember who your first win came against?
No.
Your first ever coaching win.
I don't even remember.
You don't remember? I put you on the spot. Then St. Michael's.
St. Michael's.
Y'all beat St. Michael's. Yeah. That was your first. That was your first coaching win at Easton. And like I said, you had quite a few of them. You're the first person. I literally had to start jotting some stuff down because there was so much stuff. That was one out of 142 wins at Easton. So that confidence that I'm sure you gave to the team and to your coaching style, I'm sure went into that second year. And I want to really get into the second year team because the first year was great. Y'all were 14-8, and y'all shot a lot of teams. Beat a lot of teams. I think, if I'm not mistaken, y'all were down 17 to Cambridge, and came back and beat them that year. That 14-8 year. So y'all, first year, yeah. So that second year, talk about that team, because before I get to Ja Ringold, the great Ja Ringold and those Warrior teams that went to 3 straight, I feel like that year before is really where those seeds, started to be playing more, because two people that a lot of people don't kind of forget talk about, and I'm one of them. And I tell them when I see him, Ron Stanford and Tyrone Jefferson. I know him as Boot. You know, I talked to him earlier. I sent him something too that I came across, and he hit me up. But we'll talk about what those two meant that second year, you know, together, and what you were trying to build going forward.
Oh, it meant a lot because Ryan was in the, and he was a year younger. I started off with him in AAU, and then he was a year younger than everybody, but he was always in the pipeline. And to get Boog out of nowhere, they just told me about him. I was like, all right, if he can play, bring him out.
Yeah.
And then when I plug him in, but the year before, each year built on the following year, because every year we lost by the buzzer, and then this year we got a step further each round. So my first year, who was with Cullen, we went to semifinals. We literally lay up.
Yeah.
They go up the court.
Yep.
Ball fake, one man go flying, step back, another man go flying, up to Cecil County against Elton. They hit that shot for like 30 feet. The next year, we playing, was it Waha? I think it was
Waha.
But before that, we played Edgewood. And the only reason I can remember this, you know, I don't remember
the 4 overtime game. Was that the 4 overtime game?
4 overtime. 4 overtimes. And literally 3 out of the 4 overtimes we had within a couple seconds to make the last shot. But one of the possessions, Ryan made one of those shots, but we had worked on his drill, so they know how much time is left in their head. You know, most people, they see the clock running down, they just throw it up. We had like 2 or 3 seconds left. We got the ball half court. Ryan dribbled up, and your team just stopped playing. He threw the ball ahead to Ryan, he made a layup and tied the game back up. This all within like 3 seconds. Then the next year, I know I'm jumping ahead.
Go ahead.
Bonzi. I think Davon, I think that's his real name.
Oh, yeah, Davon Gale, Waha.
He got us.
Yeah, that's my little homie. Yeah.
Layup. Take it up court. He scored. Buzzer beat. Same thing. Then it took us each year. Each year we got further in the playoff goals. It was a heartbreaker each time. And that's what it built on. And so they all, like you said, each year it got better. And then like the season, like, all right, we're getting closer. So that made everybody feel good that we was getting close. So like when we actually did across the bridge, I went back to my other players all the time. Like, man, y'all, this is y'all just as much as anybody else.
It is. That foundation. They built that foundation. Yeah, they helped build that. Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point you made about, and like you said, I can go into so many details about those games. That 4 overtime game was crazy. I wish I was there. I wasn't there, but I was just reading about it. And the play you're talking about, Jawan to Ron, you know, he talked about it in there about how, like you said, about how y'all practice that. Y'all just did something that y'all practice, and they ran it to a T, and that just proves the coaching that you did from them to follow it, you know, remember it, and execute it. You know, at the end of the day, they didn't try to do something on their own; they executed it. You know.
Yeah, they trusted the process.
Yeah, for sure. So y'all were 16-6 that second year, and then going into your third season. I know you touched on it a little bit, but y'all were 18-5. So you still had Ron was a senior, Boot was a senior, but he dealt with a lot of injuries that year. I think his shoulder had a shoulder injury that year, and then Ja was a sophomore. Ja was a sophomore that year. But like you say, y'all started building those building blocks. That year was one of the first times y'all had beat North Carolina for the first time since like 2007. I didn't know that either. I looked all this information up in like the last 6 meetings, and y'all ended up beating Edgewood again. Y'all ended up beating Edgewood, and I remember looking in the paper when this happened, and I remember Boot being in the paper. I was like, who is this kid? He had 20 points and 28 rebounds. I never forget. I was like, who is this kid? Then I remember, I said, oh, I know him. But what do you remember? Because that was the game to put y'all over the top to get across the bridge and make y'all regional champs. Your first regional champs of three straight. What do you remember about finally, you know, getting it done and getting over there?
I told the boys before the game started, they got there early, and the other team that is, and they came in there with, you know, swag. We got this year.
That's what I heard.
Run them out the gym now. That's all I need to hear. Like I said, I don't say much.
I
I observe, and then I move on. And I told Boot that, I was like, yo, they just came in here, and they know I don't lie.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Came up in here talking about they gonna run y'all out y'all gym. That's all I need to hear, Coach. That's all he said to me.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
That was a wrap. That was a wrap.
That's what he said.
Feed him the ball. And he was that wide ball on them hooks.
Yeah. The hooks. That's him. He's still doing that too. Trust me. We guard each other a lot when we was playing before the pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah, he told me. Coach, you didn't let me shoot threes. I was like, I was the only dude. You know, I was one of the best shooters on threes. I said, I know that, but you had that best hook too. I said, you better go down.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's what's up. How was it? Obviously you win the regionals. How was it being in the atmosphere? And I guess obviously from a coach perspective, even trying to talk for your players though, being in that, being in that arena, like you said, it's different. You know what I mean? It's not it's different being on the college campus. How was it? I obviously didn't get it done, but you got there. But how you think the games went? You can talk about the first year or any of those years if you want.
Well, the first year was getting there was it just felt good being on that floor because I had only, like I said, I wanted to go to Maryland at first, and I had only played on that. I played on the floor in the summer. You were playing the Army, and then you get a chance to play on the big floor. So I remember that. I was like, well, now I'm here. I didn't get a chance to go when I was in high school, aside from AAU, but we here. So I was like, this is for everybody. It made me feel good to get there. But then we ended up playing in City College and basically was a college team. They had the right name that year because everybody went D1, high D1. Went to
Maryland. Wow, is that right?
Yeah, they had 4 D1s. One of them transferred, and they were so deep. One of them just left, went somewhere else, went to Xavier somewhere. But they played a 2-3 zone on us that was bigger than Syracuse zone. You know how big Syracuse zone is.
Oh wow, yeah.
We played. We was small compared to them because they was a college team. But I mean, they was trapping out a 2-3. I remember one time we threw the ball one pass and they was trapping. They trapped so hard one time I didn't even see Ryan. They was that big. Like that house was 6'5", then that back line was coming out 6'7". I had to move Ryan to the point because they were so stretched out on the wings. But that was a good experience though. We actually we won the third quarter. But in the beginning they came out hot. I think Nick hit 3 threes right from the jump. So it was like Greg go down there, it's gonna be a long night. But we did win the third quarter, I'll say that. So I'm like, they learned from man. They going, the next year going.
Right, you went even further than that.
Wasn't gonna beat them.
Yeah. They was big like that. And like you said, that following year, obviously you lose Ron, you lose Boot, but like you said, now Ja, building off his sophomore campaign, had a great sophomore year, building off of that going to a junior year. Got other guys like, another guy people don't talk about, Gordon Jeter, who was a young Gordon Jeter then, also, ended up going to SU, going to Salisbury and playing. A lot of talent, Ike Pulley, Shoddy. The list goes on. AJ Gibson. A lot of talent. Y'all go 23-3 that year, and have some tough games. Beat Falston, and then I think you played South Carroll in the title game, if I'm not mistaken. So you got to the title game that year. Yeah, how was that?
Man, playing that team, and they were so tough and so disciplined that they never came out their stance on defense. Like you know how you throw the ball one way, you come out your stance, go to the next spot.
You come up. Yeah.
At one point, Coach Deion Gibson, he was like, "Yo, they in zone." I said, "Yo, they in man." Like they literally was in a position where the whole thing looked like a zone. Like I still was like, Ja was one of the main reasons, and my seniors, AJ and Capri, they was the reason why we won that game because it was hard to score in the half court. We had to get a couple things up the court to actually win that game. But that was the toughest defensive team I've ever seen, and they ever had to go up against. That's to tell you how special the boys was that year because they just didn't quit. So I was like, man, it's gonna be hard to score, and they went up 13-5 or something on us, and just grinded it out from there and ended up winning, maybe double figures.
I'm glad you mentioned Capri too. He was another one that he made the first team his senior year, and he was one that you even said steadily improved from ninth grade, where wasn't that good of a shooter, but each year got better and better, and that's a good thing. I got to see. I kind of missed the beginning where with Ryan and Boot, but those other couple years that y'all got there, I got to see basically all those games. I was right in Salisbury, so I got to see y'all go to Y-High and beat Y-High and Y-High. You talked about that, how you had some tough losses against Y-High, but how was it to beat them? Because you guys also beat them in the Bayside game as well. You guys played them there and beat them. So how was it, like you said, the tough loss you had as a player against Y-High and as a coach? How was it finally even getting over the home and beating Y-High?
That felt real good to beat them because, for one, Butcher has been coaching. My whole staff lost a bit. So Deion Gibson, I think they lost on the Bayside. Cornell, all of them lost to them, the Bayside, and they all on my staff. And then we got them hands down. They had a better squad than us, 1 through 12. But you only could put 5 on the court at one time. And so we went down there, and we've never been the higher seed playing them. And we got to go down there, play them. We win. We beat them. We see them another year. We got to play them again. Bayside, and then within a week, got to play them again in the regional championship. So much as fits they gave us during that time period, we gave them a lot of fits. I remember Doug King said, "Man, I'm sick."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When they finally beat us after them years when we was on the downcline about the league. So now I'm sick of y'all. I'm like, man, we was sick of y'all forever, yo. So
right, exactly.
We had this right now.
Exactly. Yeah. That was just getting back for Easton. Trust me, because like you said, I had one of my good friends, Bobby Brown, here a couple weeks back, and they used to spank us all the time. So like you said, we were just getting them back for them years. For sure. Yeah.
Well,
for sure.
It felt good to do that, especially for my old staff. And then we did it down there because it's never a game. Bayside never up on this side. It's always down there. And I like that environment, but it's still down there. And then just to turn around and have to play them in the playoffs. So it's not no fluke when you do it repeatedly. So right now, I winning every year. It ain't no fluke. They've been spanking people.
For sure. And I also want to mention, I talked about your player accolades, but also you got, and you going Coach of the Year a number of times. You shared it your first year, I should say your second year, with the St. Peter and Paul's coach. So you got a share of it then, and then the next 2 years you also won an outright. So you had 3 straight years of Coach of the Year for Easton. Your 2011-2012 team is 22-1. Was that a 2-part question? 1, was that your best team, Easton team? And 2, how was it easier showing Ja how to switch from the 2 to the 1, being that you had did it, switch to the 2 to the 1 that year?
Yeah, it definitely was for him switching over because we knew that he had a chance to go to college, and he ended up going to college, playing in Post University. So it was easy because I had done it, and he'd known it. And we got the same bloodline. He had Bailey too. He had Ringo, but he had Bailey too. So
he had Bailey too. Yeah.
He took to me like, yeah, we family. People ain't really know it, but but he took to that, and he was like, all right, you did it. All right, let me try. And we were so deep that we could do that. We put the best 5 out there that we thought we were deep, but we could put another higher level player and keep Gordon at the 3 because he's a dog, but he's 6'6". I mean, I had a 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is the way we played. But when I played, if it was time where they needed me to go to another position, I just did it. So Ja was all right, we need the ball in Ja's hand. And we put him in that position. And we bring in Kai Gibson. He come in relief.
Quick. Yeah.
So he was always ready because he played off and on. And but when he got in there, he did what he could do. And then it helped out a lot, man. But Ja just had that dog.
Yeah, he did. He
just had that it factor. I ain't had to say much to him, but if I said something to him, he locked in. Like his sophomore year, when we was playing, who was it, Edgewood? And I think something was going on with Ryan, and I was like, he's relying too much on Ryan. I said, yeah, I just yelled at him. I don't yell. And I had a foul shot. I said, yo, Ja. He looked at me. I said, yo, it's time to step up. And I said it real aggressive to him. And I seen this a switch turn. And he carries it. I was like, that's just the way.
For the one time.
I'm like, you ain't no rookie no more. This is playoffs. Go to work, man. I know what you can do. You ain't got to defer. You got to go. He was just special,
Yeah.
man. I mean, he
He's special,
he had
man.
a double-double in the Bayside game in the first half. The Bayside.
Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah, in the Bayside game. Yeah, yeah. I think he finished with like 19, 12, like 7 assists or something crazy that game. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, he was definitely, like I say, he had that dog, and that dog is something you can't teach.
Right.
You know, I mean, you can teach all the other stuff, but that dog, you know, it's just like I tell me with Jimmy Butler. You know, you got that dog, and that dog something. You know, you can't teach that. You can't teach that. And like you said, I know the year before, you know, with AJ graduating, AJ, I remember the consummate point guard, defensively, you know, up in you, and stuff like that. So, you know, which team to you was? I mean, I know you got there 3 straight times, but what team you think was your better team? You know, that second. Yeah.
I can. The only reason I can answer that off the top of my head because they asked me that question. We was in the States when we played that
Oh,
game.
okay.
Who I think was the best, and I say that last year that we went to the States, that was the most talent I had overall, but that wasn't the best chemistry. So the year before,
I
was the best chemistry because that next year we had so much talent, and we had some things going on. You know, with success, sometimes some people start, you know, players start tripping.
People want the ball. People want the ball. Yeah, I know.
Stuff started happening, but we just pretty much willed our way through that playoffs to get to that third one. Because we had Gordon didn't play, he was sick in the playoffs. Bishop had 6 people, and we had to slow the game down. But to answer the question, yeah, that year before was the best with AJ, him, Capri, all them. Because AJ, I can't remember the boy from Wild High. I know Doug King can, but we had conversations. But he put that dude in fits. He played the senior year there. We played him in the Bayside. AJ
I was there.
Cramping up. Next week we played him. Next week, so that's the Bayside, and we played him in the regional. Cramped up in the 4th quarter on the regional, and then got that man kicked out of Wild High on the Bayside, the North, the senior game.
The All-Star game.
He harassed that dude so much that year, and it's sad. Well, I can't remember his name. I know him. Me and him speak all the time. I'm terrible, man. I'm terrible.
Oh man, I'm bad with names too. I see if I put it in here though.
They hate each other, man. But AJ was that pest, and senior All-Star game, he jumped up on it full court, got a foul, first 10 seconds of the game. Next thing you know, I mean, he got kicked out of the game. How you get kicked out of the senior game? Because of AJ. AJ was just a pest. He just kept everything together, and he didn't foul you. He's like one of them gnats at the barbecue. I mean, you just can't get swinging and all. He was the best on ball defender I've ever had and ever seen because he could get so far.
Yeah, he was.
So
he got in you. He got in you. He did. Yeah.
Foot speed was problems. It was problems.
Yeah, for sure.
And Tyreek Jacobs, he's the only player in the Easton to get back-to-back Baysides with Easton. His junior year.
Oh yeah. I wanted to ask you about. Yeah. I did read about Tyreek. Yeah. Okay. So he was on that 2014. That makes sense because you had 2 straight and 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
Because 2014 was a year that Emery, can't think of his first name, hit the half court. I wasn't there. I was mad. I missed that game. The half court shot. Y'all won in overtime, right?
Yeah. Wasn't supposed to be there, man.
Yeah,
wasn't supposed to be there.
Man, y'all wasn't that year.
They beat us by 22 the first game of the year, Decatur and all that.
Beating Decatur.
And then the second game, I just had a good game plan on how we was gonna beat them, and they did it. I mean, Tyreek had to play most of the game, but when he came out the game, we literally ain't shoot. We ran the offense for like 2 minutes straight. People thought we was trying to score. I was like, man, I'm trying to get him a break.
That's right. Yeah. That's what's up.
And that too, we practiced that play. The half court shot. That was we had every day in practice. Every day in practice. All right, you gonna go home? Pick a 5. All right, I'm gonna go put my stuff.
That's up.
And they made it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Before I transition to Cambridge, and then we go ahead and end it, and then Shelton put you on the spot too. So I'm gonna tell you this before I get to it, but he wants you to name your top 5 Easton all time. You ain't got to answer it yet. Think about it. But I know. I know.
I don't even know about
but I know. But before you get to that, I gotta ask because I almost forgot. how was it? Because obviously now you're coaching with your brother, which is cool. But and how was it coaching against your dad when he was at North Carolina? I forgot about that. I forgot about how was it coaching against your pops, man?
That was weird because I was always coaching, and then he would come and sit in the same spot when I was coaching. So I always looked right across and see him. So when we start coaching against him, I look across and my dad at. I gotta look to my right, look to my left. He was there. We both posted up looking the same way, sitting there like this.
that was cool. Well, did you have to a couple of days before maybe not talk to him as much, or to make sure you didn't slip up and say nothing about a play or about something like that, or you had to worry about that?
I had to worry about he may slip up, but it wasn't gonna be me. I'm more quiet than him. Say, but it ain't gonna come. It ain't coming from me. You gonna get that. Like we sit down and talk all the time, but ain't getting all that. Like to me, I was coaching varsity longer than him, so I'm a veteran on that.
Yeah. That's awesome. So after oh, go ahead.
1 year together.
What you said?
When I stopped at Easton, me, him, and my brother was all in North Carolina for 1 season.
I thought so. I was gonna say, I thought so. That had to be cool. Yeah. I thought so. I went there.
I did the defense. Ended up beating Kent County that year, and they was real tough. Had no business beating up. Had Manny, and they was real loaded. And everything.
Yeah, man.
That was fun.
That was awesome. I bet. So leaving Easton after 8 seasons, had 142 wins, 3 Bayside titles, 3 regional titles. And how was it? I guess my question: how was that for you? I mean, how did you feel after accomplishing so much? I mean, did you want to continue coaching? Did you understand? Because it wasn't nothing you did. I mean, I was talking to it about something just about like Nick Purnell with some of these schools. We just over a certain amount of time, they just decide for whatever reason to go with someone else for a number of reasons. But I mean, I guess how did that make you feel after 8 seasons, or did you need a break? During that time.
I went through counting when I was with Richard and everything. I was there 13 years, and I've seen I think 8 ADs come through, and they're the main people that make the decision. Principals, all that. That's a lot of turnover. So when you get people in who want to do what they want to do, that's just the way it is. It ain't got nothing to do with Deontay was next in line. So if people that was trying to put it on as if he took my job, no, he was next in line. He paid his dues the same way I was paying my dues behind Richard, and then I welcomed them. When we found out all the other stuff was going on behind the scenes, we handled it. We got Deion Gibson was head of that ship, and him and Deontay, and we found out what was really going on. They were like, "Yo, if y'all ain't gonna have me, then just Deontay's next. He in the school system. Yeah, that's just the way it's got to be." So that I was about ready to take a break if anything because my kids was young. So I was ready to focus on being a dad, but I was forced out, but I was close anyway. But let me make the decision. I mean, I haven't done nothing to say that I don't need to be there. Let me make a decision. Right. He's next. So
right.
Ended up working out good. And me in the long run.
Got you. Yeah. Got you. Now, the question I want to ask is, you're the current coach of Cameron South Dorchester. Like you said, the biggest rival. What you say?
Ain't that crazy? Yeah. Ain't that crazy?
It's crazy. That's what it is. That's what I want to ask you. Like, I mean, I talked to you a little bit before. We've talked before, off camera and stuff like that. But the biggest rival for Easton. I know it's got to be weird being in the huddles and stuff like that at times. But you coach a great group of kids and they support you. And I've been to the games and I'm happy for you. But how was it? Did you have to hesitate first to accept it? Just tell me a little bit about how that process was and about, being the coach there.
Yeah, they unofficially asked me the year before that. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm raising my kids. I ain't doing that. I'm going to Cambridge. And then, I'm Cambridge. I'm from Easton. Kind of sense that make. That's going through my brain. Watch out here. And then the next year, I was coaching the AD that's there. She's Miss Otay. She's there now. I was coaching her daughter, so she always. I think she had that in the back of mind. she wasn't AD at the time, but she was still at the school, teacher. I was
Mm-hmm.
coaching her daughter in rec league with my daughter, and they just said, "You were interested? No, they asked you for. Were you interested coming over?" I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just raising my kids. He was like, so that's not enough. So they worked me really. I said, so that's not enough. The year before it was like, nah. So now this year they like,
yeah. You start
that's
thinking about it,
enough.
huh?
And so it literally, that process took like 4 to 5 months. And they was like, well, we're gonna be hiring a new coach this year. So let me know what you want to do. We'll do an interview and all that. And so I just asked my kids, I asked their mom, I asked her, like, what do y'all think? And I said, because I don't need to do this no more. I don't got nothing to prove as a coach. I did more than I thought I was going to do as a coach. I played. What do y'all want to do? And I said, think on it. And then a couple months went by. I said, I asked them again. I was like, yeah. They was like, so that means we're going to be having another gym? I said, yeah. All right, go ahead and do it. That's exactly how it went. Sure. That's exactly how it went. Then later on, I was like, all right, I hear you, but I'm gonna wait a little bit and see if you still feel like that. So I really took my time with it. I said, because once I accept, I said, I'm dedicated. I'm gonna be gone in the evenings. Like, I'm gonna see you a little bit, you can come to practice or stay a little bit, but I'm gonna be gone during the season. And kids pretty much the reason why I'm at Cambridge. They told me go do it.
That's what's up.
And,
man, that's good.
And
man.
then I had the opportunity to bring my brother because David Bailey and all them had just graduated.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I need to be, if I go, I need somebody over there where if I got to step out for my kids, it can't be at practice. You know what I want to do, go ahead and do it. But that's the only thing. If I'm just gonna be by myself, like I started off, it wouldn't work because I need to be there every little second. But I got to raise my kid. That's real. That's number one priority, man. I love kids, man. I got 2 of my own.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and like I said, I haven't got to see your son play yet, but from what I hear from, like you said, D Skinner, and from yourself, he definitely next up. So Cambridge and Easton there. I tell you, that's gonna be something. As it gets older, seeing how that goes. But let me ask you this: did you get any backlash from anybody in Easton, like, man, what you doing over there? You ain't supposed to be coaching him, or they arrived? Did you get any foolishness like that, or if you did, you just blew it off, and
I thought I was gonna hear a little bit, but honestly, people don't really care. They don't care about what they doing. I've only heard great things. Like, all my former players was like, man, you going with Canes? Congrats, all that. Like, I got my phone blew up when they did that press conference. Rich White and all them, before we got out, like, we literally met with the team, the players from the year before. Did the press conference, they had newspaper there. Before I left, everybody knew. It's like, so when I got in the car, everybody was on my phone. It was on Twitter, it was on this and that. Congratulations. Like, I ain't expected to be there. I thought it might be mixed reviews. But they didn't care. They just like, I'm glad to see you there. Like, one of my old players from Tabari, Perry. He like, man, somebody photoshopped you, man. I ain't think you picture,
Yeah, man, that's good. That's how I was. I was happy. I was like, man, Cambridge did a smart thing. That's what I said. Cambridge did a smart thing. So, talk about then I'm gonna get you out of here, but talk about what you accomplished last year.
Man. It's y'all wait for that answer.
Yeah. We're gonna answer this, and then we're gonna do the top 5, and then we're gonna get out. But I want you to talk about how special this past year was winning the Bayside, because also I think, just like you had said about one of those Eastern teams where y'all wasn't supposed to be there, no one picked y'all beginning of the year last year. So talk about how special that team was. I talked to you about Logan Middleton, who's going to be on the show next Monday, a kid you coach. Tell me how good Rashawn Ashley is. Probably up for Player of the Year this year. I know a lot of his family. So just talk about just that team and and everything.
It was special. It actually started the year before. I think we finished second the year before. As far as mentality, you got to learn your players. They got to learn you. As soon as they learn you and know that you're a real human being, and that you don't think you know everything. Like I tell them all the time. I said, man, I don't know it all. I'm pretty sure I know a little bit more than you, but I don't know it all. If you see something, say something. But learn my system. What I'm trying to get you to do. I played college. I've coached. Like I don't even feel like saying that stuff. But I was like, sometimes I gotta tell them that so they know, because they didn't see me play. They ain't know they coached that. They didn't even know I coached at Easton that long, because I mean 3 years before in elementary, they didn't know. So I gotta like
they learn.
I don't like talking about myself, but you say those things and then other people will talk for you, and then you just show them you can still play a little bit and that you care about them as a person. Then they buying in. You had some rough rocky starts, but we had maybe 5 team meetings that year and no practice. We'll start off, we had like 10, 15 minutes. Like, all right, come on, we need to talk. And then we just would have conversations, because what's the point of practicing if you're not mentally in it and you're not feeling it? So we built on that. And we started trusting each other and having meetings that, it's just us. If you decide to tell your parents it's on you, you tell your parents, but this is between us. You can say it. Like I let them cuss in the meeting. I say what you gotta say, and let's get better. Yeah. And then after that, that's it. I said, we the only ones in here. That's 14, 15 people. And it built up, and we started, and we was on the team that split with Easton that year. I mean, they went to the Bayside 2 years.
Yep.
We split with them. I mean, so
sure did.
That meant a lot to us. And then last year, it was the players that was pretty much coming off the bench who could have possibly started the year before, but I used them off the bench. They've done the classmen. You know how the process goes. Hands down. I'm gonna keep you with this group. And then we actually snuck one in last year, man. And then it was amazing, man. That's all I can say, because I had experience with that type of team because our guards are little. Like Lowe's are not that tall.
Not at all.
Tall. Not at all. DeAndre, they not tall. Keyshawn, John, all them boys are not tall at all. But I had that experience with Aaron, Jawan, all that kind of stuff. And I knew one thing about Cambridge, they always got athletes. So I said, all right, man, let's play football. So, man, use them legs. That's all I need you to do is use them legs. I'm going to put you in position to use the legs, and we'll see where everything else falls in. Them legs got us all the way to the Civic Center again, man. I was in second year. That's amazing, man.
Yeah. It was. It was great.
Then we went to the Bayside.
Yeah. Second year, and another coach of the year for you. I think I'm losing count. I think that was your fourth. Like you said, first with Cambridge last year. I think he had 3 with Easton, maybe 4 with Easton. But man, I tell you, it was definitely awesome. What you said?
I got 8, yo.
You got 8? Oh, I'm really run them back.
I don't know why it's 8 out of 10 years, because some years they have the paper does their own thing, and then you got a coach's poll. And between the 10.
Oh, okay. The coach's poll. Okay, got you.
I didn't even realize it, but then from a resume for something, I was doing something. I'm like, I ain't even know. Doesn't look like I don't pay attention to that stuff. I know I got it this past year. Recent.
Yeah, no, I got to be fast. Yeah.
I know I had 3 in a row because of the time we kept going across the bridge and that kind of thing. But then you start thinking about it, like, man, I did get there. Then I got co-play.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you deserve it, man. You deserve it. Like I said, man, you've always been a stand-up guy, always willing to teach. Just like I told Shelton before and Bone, but y'all always took time, even when we was kids, you never got too big of you wasn't going to show us something or how to be better or nothing like that. And it's just translated to what you're doing now, man. So again, I definitely, salute you and everything that you got going forward. But yeah, before we get out of here, before you get to the top 5, I think the guy we were talking about, Dixon put on here, might have been Trey Morris, about AJ when he was guarding him. Might have been Trey Morris. I think it might have been Trey Morris. But yeah, top 5.
He didn't stand. He can't stand AJ, man.
Yeah. I know Trey a little bit too. Yeah. But the top 5. Easton. That's what Shelton want to know. He put you on the spot.
Hey, he gonna be waiting, because I can't. I can't.
It's hard, ain't it, man? I know.
Like, cause I can't compare myself to people I ain't see play. Like, I literally didn't see the '88 team. So how am I gonna say who the best player is? I don't know. I
Like
might
you said, you gotta get Mike Butler. Like you said, you gotta get Coach Butler and ones that they're seeing the '68 team and the '88 team and the '98 team. You gotta get people like that to get that. I guess.
I'll put, let me see, we do something about, all right, let me do my teams. All right. Let me top
All right.
five. All right, everybody's saying Wayne. I can speak on Wayne because I actually played against him when I was in 8th grade and I didn't know who they was. All I knew was coming out there, nobody wanted to guard him. So I guess they just threw me at it. I was trying to make a name myself. I stayed in front of him, but the only issue is he's 6'5". I was 5'9" at the time, so he had to work hard.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did that to everybody else. So I'll put him on the list. Me and Donnie will have battles after I got out of high school. I mean, when I got over there, he's prime. He's like 8, 9 years older than me. So me being 14, 20, I played him in his prime. So basically,
Yeah.
went to college and do all that. So I'll put him in there too. On the next, now I don't even know what to say now because LT, you got to put LT in there somewhere. I probably won't have 5. I'm gonna name people that LT got me in there because he the closest thing I've seen to Alvin Morris as far as pure score. I know that's saying a lot, but that's what I was on the bench. He didn't miss.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah.
And he scored any kind of way you wanted, and he didn't care if St. Michael's had a down year, and I'm gonna give you 50. I'm gonna get 50. See, like I just played. It wasn't like, but he's just like, all right, I'm gonna get buckets. You made a mistake and put me out there, so I'm just gonna get buckets. Let me see, them 3. That's tough after that. Because I can't. I'll say my best point guard I had was AJ Gibson. I ain't gonna say top 5. Going jumping to me now. So job.
Yeah, I got you.
You could name anyone when I was in high school. You could play anybody off our squad. We could be in the top 5.
Yeah.
I can't speak before. I can't really speak on 88. That's off experience of me playing them at Ottawa. But I can't.
Right.
Jason Brown should be top 10 somewhere. I seen that.
Oh, Jason Brown was tough. Yeah. Whew.
Seeing him play when I was water boy, but I can't say no top 5. I got to go for people.
It's tough.
I got to people.
It's tough.
I know because the older you get, as we talked about before, or he had this, I didn't see it. I could say a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't know. Ain't no film.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Well, look, you definitely in a lot of people's top 5. Shout out to Buzz, man. Appreciate you, Buzz. Elvis Batson, Buzz, he was saying you definitely in his top 5, legend on the court all time. You definitely, like you said, in my top 5 of what I've seen, and then obviously arguably you can argue the greatest player to come out of Easton. Like I said, I haven't seen everybody. I'll say that the Coach Butler. We got to do something different. A big round table or something and get together. And really do, really talk and really throw some names out there. Because like you said, all these different eras and who you ain't seen and who you seen and stuff like that. That's how it goes. So it's definitely tough, man. But I tell you, man, it's been a lot of fun. Man, I know I held you a little bit longer than I wanted to, but like I said, we could have did 2 podcasts.
What I tell you, I don't talk much, but get me now, man.
I gotta get you while I can. That's right. I gotta get you while I can. Yeah, man. So I definitely appreciate you. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Man, I just appreciate it. I watch, I ain't on social media much, but I do get YouTube. So when you post your stuff on YouTube, I do watch. I want to give you your flowers for doing this, man. You don't have to do this. I know.
Appreciate it.
Planning this stuff and doing research and all this stuff. I don't know where you get it from, but you do it week after week, plus doing the NBA stuff. So I want to give you your flowers too. So
thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Man. Appreciate you having me because, like I said, it's hard to get me somewhere, but I'm glad you're doing it. I'm learning stuff from from what you're doing. It's a whole bunch. It's always stories that people don't know about, and
that's true.
Learn that kind of stuff. So I appreciate it, man.
Man, no problem at all, man. Like I said, I definitely appreciate you jumping on. Appreciate everybody out there listening. Tune in Saturday. Next podcast will be with Mike Blake, Richard Guy. I'll be posting the time for that in the next couple of days. Got a few more episodes before I wrap this season up, but it's been great. Again, Marty Belly Jr., appreciate you and all that you do, all you've done for me and everybody. And I'll talk to you soon. We out of here.
Yeah, we'll do part 2, man.
Oh, yeah, we want to do that for sure. All right, man. Take it easy.
All right, man.
Peace. All right, now.